Now, one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, hey, I'm taking an older machine offline, an older domain controller. And when I do, for some strange reason, I start getting all kinds of errors and problems with my network. I have other domain controllers. Those domain controllers are global catalogs. So why is it that when I take this old box offline, I end up having issues on my network? And one of the things that you have to remember as an IT administrator is that there are roles, operational master roles, or sometimes we call them FSMA roles, that are installed onto different servers. Normally, when you first install a brand new domain, all of the roles are installed onto that box. Well, after a few years, that box becomes one of the oldest boxes on your network. You have other domain controllers, but when you go to take it offline, it causes all kinds of problems because that box is controlling those FSMA roles. So how do you go ahead and move those roles before you take the box offline? Well, one of the easiest ways to do it is to do it through Active Directory. Now, the first thing is, how do we know which box holds which roles? So that's the first thing I'm going to go ahead and show you. All right, let me go ahead and point out to you how you know which box holds which roles. The easiest way to do this is to just open up on a domain controller, open up PowerShell. Now make sure you open it up as an administrator. Then all you have to do is run one simple command. netdom query fsmo for the FSMA roles. And when you hit enter, it will go through and it will tell you which machine holds which roles. Now, as you can see, Batman role right now has all of the different roles. It has the schema master role, the domain naming master role, the PDC, RID, and infrastructure master. Now, the schema master and the domain naming master, these are forest-based roles. The other three are domain-based roles. So it really depends on which role you're trying to change, depending on where you have to go. For example, if I want to change one of the domain-based roles, I go into Active Directory users and computers. If I want to change like the domain naming master role, I would go into domains and trusts. So it really just depends on which role. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to change the PDC emulator from Batman to this server, which just happens to be named Robin. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up Active Directory users and computers. And you got to do this from the machine that's getting the role. So I am currently on Robin. Even though all the roles are being stored on Batman, you have to do it from the machine, the target, where you're transferring it to. So I'm going to open up Active Directory users and computers. And once this opens up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the domain name and I'm going to choose operational masters. Then all you do is you pick which role you want to change and hit the change button. It's going to say, are you sure you want to transfer the operational master role? You're going to go ahead and say yes. And at that point, you'll now see that Robin now holds the PDC emulator. Even though when we did the netdom query fsmo, it showed that Batman held them all. Now we've moved that role to Robin. Now you're able to do this because Batman is up and running. If for some reason Batman crashes and I need to move the roles from that server to this server, you have to at that point do it by using the NTDs util. All right, you'll have to go into the NTDs util to do that. Now, there's other steps to this, like stopping your Active Directory, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'll show you the command so at least you know where you would go in. So if I go into NTDs util, you'll see here that you actually have an area that says roles. Now, when you go in and do it through the NTDs util, you are what they call seizing control of the role. And the only time you literally have to seize control of the role is if the server that holds the roles is not operational. It's down, it crashed, something happened. Other than that, just go into Active Directory and change the roles the way I showed you. So one of the real nice features of Active Directory is that you have these roles that set out on these different machines. Once you understand how to find the role and then transfer the role to a different box, you can decommission some of these older servers and not worry about causing your network to have any problems.